Hey everyone, and welcome back to the AI Tech channel. Today, we're diving into a story that's got the legal world buzzing and raises some serious questions about the future of legal jobs. Are AI lawyers about to take over? That's the question we're tackling today. I know, it sounds like a movie plot, but Linklaters, one of the world's leading law firms, just put AI to the ultimate test, a real English law exam. The results? Well, they're more complicated than you might think. Get ready, because this could impact your career whether you're in law or not. Let's get started. So, what exactly did Linklaters do? They created what they called the Links AI English Law Benchmark, a series of 50 incredibly difficult questions covering 10 different areas of law. Think contract law, intellectual property, tax, privacy, the whole shebang. These aren't your basic law school questions either. They're designed to challenge even seasoned lawyers with about 2 years of post-qualification experience. The goal? To see how accurate these AI models really are when it comes to complex legal reasoning. It's like giving a robot a bar exam, but even harder. The questions were designed to really push the AI to its limits, to see if it could not only understand the law, but also apply it correctly and justify its answers with solid legal citations. Now, how do you grade an AI on a law exam? Linklaters came up with a pretty clever system. Each question was worth a maximum of 10 points. 5 points were awarded for the substance of the answer. Basically, was it right or wrong? 3 points were for citations. Did the AI back up its answer with real cases and statutes, or did it just make things up? And finally, 2 points were for clarity. How well did the AI explain its reasoning? This is crucial, because even if an AI gets the answer right, it needs to be able to explain why it's right. This grading system really gets to the heart of what it means to practice law. Not just knowing the rules, but also being able to apply them logically and persuasively. This isn't the first time Linklaters has put AI through its paces. Back in October 2023, they tested earlier versions of AI models like GPT-2, GPT-3, GPT-4, and Bard. The results weren't exactly stellar. While Bard came out on top, even its average score was only 4.4 out of 10. The report at the time highlighted that all the tools were frequently wrong, and the citations were often completely made up, what we call hallucinations. Imagine relying on that kind of advice in a real legal case. It was a clear sign that AI still had a long way to go before it could be trusted with serious legal work. The older models struggled with even basic legal concepts, and their tendency to invent legal sources was a major red flag. Fast forward to the present, and Linklaters has tested the latest and greatest AI models, Gemini 2.0 and OpenAI o1. The results are, well, they're better. Gemini 2.0 scored an average of 6 out of 10, while OpenAI o1 topped the charts with a 6.4. That's a significant improvement driven by better scores in both substance and citation accuracy. We're talking about a real jump in performance here. It shows that these AI models are learning and improving at an impressive rate. But are they good enough to replace lawyers yet? Not quite, as you'll soon see. One of the biggest improvements was in the reduction of hallucinations. In the previous round of testing, almost a third of the older models, that's 47 out of 150 answers, simply made up cases and statutes to support their answers. That's a lawyer's worst nightmare. The newer tools, Gemini 2.0 and OpenAI o1, reduced this rate down to just 9%. That's a massive drop, and it shows that developers are making real progress in addressing this critical issue. However, it's important to note that this doesn't account for real but inaccurate citations. So, while the AI is making up fewer things, it's still not perfect when it comes to getting its facts straight. Despite these improvements, Linklaters is still urging caution. Their report states that even with the advancements in Gemini 2.0 and OpenAI o1, these tools should not be used for English law legal advice without expert human supervision. They're still not always right, and they lack the nuance and judgment that experienced lawyers bring to the table. Think about it. Law isn't just about knowing the rules, it's about understanding the context, the human element, and the potential consequences of every decision. AI can't replicate that, not yet anyway. However, Linklaters does see a role for AI in assisting lawyers. They suggest that these tools are getting to the point where they could be useful for tasks like creating first drafts or cross-checking information. This is especially true for summarizing well-known areas of law. Imagine having an AI assistant that can quickly pull together all the relevant cases and statutes on a particular topic. That could save lawyers a huge amount of time and allow them to focus on more strategic and complex tasks. It's about augmenting human capabilities, not replacing them entirely. Now, the big question. Will this rate of progress continue? Linklaters isn't so sure. They point out that there may be inherent limitations to large language models, LLMs. These models are, after all, partly stochastic parrots regurgitating the internet and other learned text on demand. In other words, they're really good at pattern recognition, but they don't necessarily understand what they're saying. This is where things get really interesting. Are we hitting the limits of what these AI models can achieve, or is there still room for significant improvement? The answer to that question could have huge implications for the future of the legal profession. Linklaters even raises the embodiment problem, which is a fascinating concept. They argue that LLMs will never truly understand the law because they lack the lived experience that shapes human judgment. They'll never experience the beauty of a summer cricket game or the physical revulsion at finding a snail in a bottle of ginger beer. These seemingly trivial experiences shape our understanding of the world and influence how we interpret the law. It's a reminder that law is ultimately a human endeavor deeply rooted in our shared experiences and values. This is a really profound point. It suggests that there may be certain aspects of legal reasoning that AI will never be able to fully replicate. Despite these concerns, Linklaters believes that fine-tuning of this technology is likely to deliver performance improvements for years to come. In other words, even if we're hitting some fundamental limitations, there's still plenty of room to tweak and optimize these models. This could involve training them on more specific legal datasets, improving their ability to understand legal nuances, or developing new techniques for verifying their accuracy. The key is to focus on making these tools more reliable and trustworthy, so that lawyers can confidently use them in their daily work. And the story doesn't end here. Linklaters plans to reapply the Lynx AI English Law benchmark to future iterations of this technology and update this report. This is crucial because it shows that they're committed to staying on top of the latest developments in AI and providing their clients with the most accurate and up-to-date advice. It's also a sign that they're taking this technology seriously and exploring its potential in a responsible and thoughtful way. This kind of ongoing testing and evaluation is essential if we want to harness the power of AI for good in the legal profession. Now, let's zoom out a bit and talk about the broader implications of this story. This isn't just about AI and law. It's about how technology is transforming all sorts of industries. Staying up to date on these developments is vital, especially if you're an aspiring lawyer. You need to be aware of how AI is changing the legal landscape and how it might impact your future career. But it's not just about law. This applies to anyone in any field. The world is changing rapidly, and you need to be constantly learning and adapting to stay ahead of the curve. This is what we call commercial awareness, and it's more important than ever in today's world. Speaking of the changing world, let's talk about Trump and tariffs. During his election campaign, Donald Trump claimed that tariff was the most beautiful word in the dictionary. Now that he's back in office, economists are discussing how his threatened trade policy might affect the U.S. economy. Tariffs are taxes on goods imported from abroad, and they can have a big impact on businesses and consumers. This is a complex issue with lots of different perspectives, and it's important to understand the potential consequences before making any rash decisions. Increased geopolitical tension may increase demand for legal services related to risk management, international disputes, and sanctions compliance. Meanwhile, in the UK, there's growing pressure on employers. Doubts around the UK economy have grown following a downturn in the labor market. Vacancies for permanent jobs are declining, and employers are cutting jobs. The government is also putting pressure on employers by raising the national living wage and increasing the national insurance rate. This is creating a challenging environment for businesses, and it's important to be aware of the potential impact on your own career. The rising cost associated with employing workers may see many businesses looking to reduce their headcount and start redundancy processes. Additionally, the expanded set of employment rights workers are entitled to from the beginning of their employment could result in an increase in unfair dismissal claims brought against employers. And over in the world of social media, Mark Zuckerberg has announced that Meta is ending its third-party fact-checking program in the U.S. Instead, the online platform will rely on users to flag misinformation. This is a controversial decision, and it raises some serious questions about the role of social media companies in combating fake news. Zuckerberg has stated that he has no immediate plan to end third-party fact-checking and introduce community notes outside the U.S. Last year, regulation of social media stepped up elsewhere in the world as the EU's Digital Services Act and the UK's Online Safety Act came into force. This development may affect law firms instructed by clients in the digital platform space as they navigate complying with hefty regulation in the EU and UK while keeping up with this trend towards free expression over the Atlantic. In other news, the UK government is poised to greenlight significant airport expansions, including Gatwick and Luton. This could have a big impact on the aviation industry and the local economies around these airports. For law firms, particularly those with aviation or environmental practices, these developments signal a potential increased demand for regulatory guidance. The projects also present opportunities for those specializing in infrastructure finance, as private funding models gain traction. Aviation practices may see soaring interest as firms attempt to capitalize on the budding influx of commercial aircraft into London's airways. Finally, let's talk about something a little more unusual. Donald and Melania Trump have launched their own meme coins, Dollar Trump and Dollar Melania. This is a bizarre development, and it highlights the growing influence of cryptocurrency in our society. Whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's undeniable that crypto is here to stay. For law firms, this signals a potential boom in demand for crypto-related advice. International firms can expect an increase in cross-border compliance work, crypto investments, market manipulation claims, and blockchain-related transactions. As banks explore entering the crypto market and global regulations evolve, firms with expertise in fintech will be well-positioned to take advantage of the boom. Okay, back to AI. Let's dig a bit deeper into how law firms are actually using these large language models, LLMs, in practice. I recently read an interview with Shilpa Bhandarkar and Mark Harvey at Linklaters, and they shared some really interesting insights. They're both heavily involved in Linklaters' AI initiatives, and they've been experimenting with LLMs for a variety of tasks. They're using tools like Microsoft's Azure OpenAI service and Google's Cloud Vertex AI platform to improve their search capabilities and automate tasks like document review. It's clear that AI is already having a significant impact on how law firms operate. One of the most interesting things they mentioned was how LLMs can help with what Mark Harvey calls blank page-itis. We all know that feeling of staring at a blank page, not knowing where to start. LLMs can generate a first draft, which can then be edited and refined by a human lawyer. This can save a huge amount of time and effort, and it can also help to overcome that initial hurdle of getting started. It's like having a tireless research assistant who can quickly pull together all the relevant information and present it in a coherent format. This is a huge benefit, especially for junior lawyers who are still learning the ropes. But it's not just about having the technology, it's about knowing how to use it effectively. Linklaters has invested in prompt engineering training to teach its lawyers how to get the most out of these LLMs. This involves learning how to craft specific and detailed prompts that elicit the desired response from the AI. It's a skill that's becoming increasingly important in the age of AI, and it's something that all lawyers will need to master in order to stay competitive. Think of it like learning a new language, the language of AI. Ultimately, the goal is to use AI to provide better and more efficient legal services to clients. Linklaters believes that AI can help them to access and leverage all of the institutional knowledge that the firm has accumulated over decades. This can lead to a very different experience of working with us for clients. It's about using AI to enhance human capabilities, not to replace them. And it's about sharing the benefits of that efficiency with clients in the form of lower fees and better outcomes. This is a win-win situation for everyone involved. Let's delve into the technical aspects a bit further. The Link's AI English Law Benchmark can be seen as a simplified expert system. An expert system, common in AI research, leverages a knowledge base and inference engine to solve problems in a specific domain. In this case, the knowledge base consists of English law, and the inference engine is the AI model itself. The exam questions function as input, and the AI's answers are the output. While LLMs aren't traditional expert systems, their ability to process and generate text makes them suitable for this kind of task. It's important to note that the effectiveness of such a system heavily relies on the quality and comprehensiveness of the knowledge base. This highlights the critical need for accurate and up-to-date legal data to train these AI models. The LLMs used in this test, such as Gemini 2.0 and OpenAI o1, rely heavily on the attention mechanism, a key component of transformer networks. The attention mechanism allows the model to focus on the most relevant parts of the input when generating a response. In the context of the law exam, this means that the AI needs to be able to identify the key facts and legal issues in each question and then focus its attention on the relevant legal rules and precedents. However, the attention mechanism is not perfect, and it can sometimes be misled by irrelevant information or biases in the training data. This is one of the reasons why human supervision is still necessary to ensure the accuracy and reliability of AI-generated legal advice. You can read more about attention mechanism in the paper Attention is All You Need by Vaswani et al. In 2017. Linklaters' reference to LLMs as stochastic parrots is a nod to a common criticism of these models. The term implies that LLMs are simply mimicking patterns in the training data without truly understanding the underlying meaning. While this is a simplification, it highlights the fact that LLMs are fundamentally different from human intelligence. They don't have common sense, they don't have real-world experience, and they don't have the ability to reason in the same way that humans do. This is why it's so important to be aware of the limitations of LLMs and to use them responsibly. We need to remember that they're tools, not replacements for human judgment. Now, let's consider some opposing viewpoints. While Linklaters emphasizes the need for human supervision, some AI enthusiasts believe that AI will eventually be able to perform legal tasks autonomously. They argue that as AI models become more sophisticated and are trained on larger datasets, they will be able to overcome their current limitations and achieve human-level performance. This is a valid argument, but it's important to be realistic about the challenges involved. Even if AI can eventually pass the bar exam, that doesn't mean it will be able to handle all aspects of legal practice. There are many soft skills, such as empathy, negotiation, and relationship building, that are difficult for AI to replicate. So, how can we verify these claims about AI's capabilities? One approach is to use a technique called adversarial testing. This involves creating deliberately misleading or ambiguous questions to see how the AI responds. If the AI consistently makes mistakes or falls for traps, it's a sign that it's not as robust as it appears. Another approach is to compare the AI's performance to that of human lawyers on the same tasks. This can help to identify areas where the AI excels and areas where it still needs improvement. The key is to use rigorous and objective methods to assess AI's capabilities and to avoid relying on hype or speculation. So, what does all of this mean for the future of legal jobs? Is AI going to replace lawyers? I don't think so, at least not in the foreseeable future. But I do think that AI is going to change the way lawyers work. It's going to automate many of the routine and time-consuming tasks, freeing up lawyers to focus on more strategic and complex matters. It's also going to create new opportunities for lawyers who are skilled in AI and data analysis. The key is to embrace these changes and to develop the skills that will be needed to thrive in the age of AI. This includes things like prompt engineering, data analysis, and critical thinking. The legal profession is evolving, and it's up to us to adapt. We need to be willing to experiment with new technologies, to learn new skills, and to embrace new ways of working. This isn't just about survival. It's about creating a better future for the legal profession and for the clients we serve. By embracing AI responsibly and thoughtfully, we can make the law more accessible, more efficient, and more just. The future of law is not about humans versus machines. It's about humans and machines working together to achieve a common goal. It's about finding the right balance between human judgment and artificial intelligence. So, what do you think? Are you excited about the potential of AI in law, or are you worried about the impact on jobs? Let me know in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to the AI Tech channel for more updates on the latest developments in AI and technology. We're always exploring new and exciting topics, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this video informative. And if you have any suggestions for future topics, please leave them in the comments below. We're always looking for new ideas,